Hey, what's up? It's Dominic D'Angelo of adfreeshows.com, scoops.com, and brassringmedia.com. Check it out. Hey, you're checking me out today. It's Rumor and Innuendo. Did I already say that? But happy to be here with everybody. I was scheduled to have Vinny Pacifico on, but our communication did not line up, so we do not have him here today. So guess what? You're stuck with me. Robert is what is it? Not celebrating. It's more of a soulless kind of holiday for us, our Jewish friends here. Yom Kippur. So he's being mindful of Yom Kippur today. And so happy, well, I guess, I don't know how to say it. Happy Yom Kippur, for lack of a better way to say it. But yes, I guess you can have a happy Yom Kippur. Let's say hi to some folks in the chat. Triple E says, "What's up? What's up?" Willie Thornberry says, "Charlotte Flair's ex-husband is now the answer to a trivia question." True. Dre Owen says, "Hello, R&I. Andrade is the new Double J. Also, the setup for Hangman versus Samoa Joe match seemed very rushed." Yeah, we'll talk about that. We will talk about that. Wrestling Old Ed says, "Good day to all. I knew TK was a stats guy. Very appropriate of him to bring Andrade back 3 years after his backstage incident with Sammy Guevara." Wow, how about that? Yeah. Devin Dowling says, "Dom Kapoor." We should start an R&I pool to see how long Andrade lasts in AEW this time. My goodness. Yes, he's been all over the place. RVD episode, yes, tonight. Rob and I will go live, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. RVDTV.com. Tune in. Be a part of the chat and help support the show. And if you haven't yet, be sure to like, share, subscribe. Go to RVDTV.com and help out us on the algorithm. JB, what's up? Good morning, JB, actually known as Rick Rude 88. Triple E says, "Is Marcus still alive after Powers of Pain?" Yes, my brother fought the Powers of Pain. Both the Barbarian and the Warlord did not go well for him. He's still alive. He actually just wrestled last night in Dayton, Ohio as well. For Appalachian Championship Wrestling, I believe it was. I think, or maybe that's West Virginia. Maybe I'm mistaken on that. I can't remember where he was somewhere. He wrestled somewhere last night. And he'll wrestle this Saturday, Elizabeth, PA. I'll be on the call for IWC Super Indie. It's the Super Indie tournament, and will we crown a new indie champion? Or could we have Sam Holloway repeat as well? So tune into that. That'll be this weekend. You can try that out on Triller.tv. You can hear me on the call with Nick Lendl, and my brother is in multi-man tag action. Should be a Duke Davis, the world champion, is on the other side. My brother can handle him. He'll be all right. All right. Wow, that incident happened at the 3-year anniversary of the AEW. A little crazy. I completely forgot about that, but yeah, that's right. What company again? IWC, International Wrestling Cartel. That's Marcus and I's hometown promotion that we work for, is the IWC. That's where Wardlow came out of. Britt Baker came out of there. Jochen Wild, also known as Zema Ion, came out of there as well. So yeah, a lot of cool talents on the rise too. Some other names you should look out for: Kanan Christopher, Zach Nystrom, Sam Holloway, obviously a WID prospect. I'm trying to think who else is there. Katie Arquette is there as well. And it's a very fun promotion. The first promotion where I really hung out with RVD, and we got to know each other a little bit better and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool too. Check it out. Yes, this Saturday. I will be on the full call, I think. Maybe I'll be off on a couple matches, but overall, I am what you say, the color analyst, if you will, for the IWC. So it's a fun time. Should be a fun weekend. All right. Well, was Dynamite fun? Was the 6th anniversary? We had some surprises. We had some cool announcements. Overall, though, was the show that good? I'm going to give it a C- probably, if I really think about it. But yes, the big news coming out of it is Andrade making his return to AEW after recently exiting WWE. And we apparently have a report, some backstage news regarding why Andrade left and why he was able to compete so quickly in AEW. New report has shed light on how Andrade El Idolo was able to make his shocking return to All Elite Wrestling at last night's Dynamite. Less than 3 weeks after his release from WWE. This is according to PW Insider. Andrade did not have the standard 90-day non-compete clause that is typical for main roster talent departing WWE. My cat just knocked over Parmesan cheese. This allowed him to become an immediate free agent and sign with another promotion. The absence of this clause is what enabled his surprising comeback to happen so quickly. Now get this. The report, citing multiple WWE sources, states that Andrade was cut outright from the company due to what was described as numerous WWE wellness violations over the last year. So how about that? Violation policy. So this also says because of the nature of the release, WWE reportedly chose not to pay him for the 90-day non-compete period, thus making him a free and clear to perform elsewhere immediately. The report also suggests that this situation confirms that many have suspected for some time that WWE is no longer publicly announcing wellness policy suspensions for its main roster talent. So how about that? So a little bit of added double punch here. That was written up courtesy of SCScoops.com, but the report comes from PW Insider Mike Johnson. So pretty wild. Best thing to happen, I guess, for Andrade, considering the circumstances. You get released from WWE, you make a contentious exit with AEW, you find yourself still on the second biggest promotion in America, and you're already making your return against arguably, the most premier name in AEW in Kenny Omega. So now will he get lost in that massive, massive shuffle that never stops growing in the Don Callis family? That's going to be the big question. How memorable will Andrade be in this second run in comparison to his first run? His first run had a lot of potential, I thought. There was a lot of cool stuff going on. That look he had with the pinstripe suit, the skull, he has that mask back, it looks like, in some form or fashion. But then you also had him pair with Chavo Guerrero, which was, I thought, really, really cool and really opportunistic. Here, he's in a huge faction with Don Callis, where a lot of these members get lost in the shuffle. I can't even keep track of everybody. If you ask me right now to name every member of the Don Callis family, I think I would struggle greatly. What's the one guy's name? Mark Davis, right? Mark Davis. We got Lance Archer. We got Josh Alexander. We got Hechicero. We have Kyle Fletcher. We have Konosuke Takeshita. We have Okada. We have oh boy, the new hologram, whoever that is, El Clon, and then we have who's the guy that just joined? Oh, Andrade. Did I name them all? Did I miss a? Did I get him? I don't know. Wrestling Golden says Chavo was perfect as the manager for Andrade. Surprised they don't pair him with Elektra Lopez. Yeah, something like that. Oh, I missed. Yes, Rocky Romero. Oh, Trent too. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. That's a big family. And I don't think it's beneficial in the grand scheme of it all. Not like Don Callis, I think, is a good heel, but is he engaging television? I don't necessarily think that. Like, he's not somebody that I feel like I must tune into to watch. I think he's got some good go away. I think he's better as like a heel commentator than anything else. But yeah, I don't necessarily think he should be the main guy in a huge faction, both literally and figuratively. Lots of this is getting the Dangerous Alliance. Devin Dowling says. Dre Owen says Don Callis family for life. Q NWO music. It's getting big, like bigger than the NWO. But like, what was more in demand, the NWO or the Don Callis family? How many members did the Heenan family have at its height? Like, I know you had a stable of guys, and I know it switched in and out. You had like Andre, and you had, I think, Mr. Perfect, right? Hercules. You had Brooklyn Brawler. I know I'm missing people. That was before my time of tuning into wrestling, so that's just off the top of my head. But so Andrade's here. And I enjoy the Young Bucks. I enjoy what they're doing with the Young Bucks. The gambling thing just kind of came out of nowhere though, and it's kind of weird too when you consider they have a pay-per-view called Double or Nothing, and there's not really, and it was so associated with Las Vegas that now it's unfortunately not that much anymore. And so that's all you kind of think about is gambling at the casino. That's what I think about because I would go to the Double or Nothings for AEW in Vegas. I was at the first one. I was at the announcement party, the very first ticket announcement party in 2019 before they even had a Dynamite or a pay-per-view, So I very much associate Las Vegas with AEW. I think I always will to an extent. And it's just this 6-year anniversary. It was cool to see that video package, but it was also very sobering. There are a lot of exciting moments that I remember back when AEW first started and the potential that AEW had to be like a really, obviously not to the level that WWE could probably, that they would ever reach that level, but certainly up there, way more than they should be right now. I would highly argue that. I think, they've made so many missteps over the course of this 6 years that they found themselves in a position that's respectable for sure. You're live wrestling weekly product on mainstream television, and you have a TV deal, but are you the level of popularity where you should be? No way. No way you're not. So the thing about that video highlight package, they sure had some classic highlights and stuff like that, but I did happen to notice a lot of those highlights were recent. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing for AEW to do if you're looking to protect yourself, considering you don't have a lot of those talents anymore that really made AEW what it was back in the day. Now, you still do have some of those talents that helped enhance AEW to where it is. And I think they're getting a little overlooked. Somebody in particular, Eddie Kingston. Okay, we had a little reintroduction of Eddie Kingston on this week's episode, but it was all in promotion for a match on Collision. And look, I know you're pretty confident that you have a lot of baby faces that you can maybe utilize with Hangman and like Jet Speed. Geez, who else is really a baby face right now? Oh, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, Darby. You have some Hurt Syndicate's kind of basically baby faces, right? But like you get a big return like Eddie Kingston and you're not utilizing him in the right manner. It just doesn't. It's a little head scratchy to me. Willie Thornbury, Working Stiff, will be recording tomorrow. Yom Kippur today for Robert, so he will not be recording today. He'll record with Scott tomorrow. So that's an FYI there. Devin Dowling says, has anyone here ever seen every single Dynamite? I know I haven't. I know I haven't either. Oh, Orange Cassidy, that's the other good babyface. So yeah, I mean, you're good, but I mean, like, don't you want Eddie Kingston in the mix there? I mean, you want him to be relevant. Like, putting him on Collision does nobody any favors. I know it gives you maybe people the incentive to tune into Collision, but Collision's, I mean, let's be honest here. It's a dead product. It's like nobody tunes into it. So, like, you're not doing anybody any favors in that regard. It's dead in the water, basically. But let's take a look more at the AEW Dynamite results here and what we went down. Like I said, that I thought the opening match was fun and cool, like a good way to kick off your 6th anniversary, especially having like Kenny and the Young Bucks in it. But what's next? What is next for Kenny? What is next for the Young Bucks? Like I said, I like the Young Bucks, and I think they handle themselves overall in a very clever and fun manner that makes them an engaging team. I do think they need a face turn here at some point, but it doesn't look. I mean, I guess we're going to get Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express, which makes a lot of sense. So, that's fine. We had, speaking of Orange Cassidy, we had him challenge Kyle Fletcher for the TNT Championship. Thought this match was fine. We had the interference from Hologram, who later ended up not being Hologram, but the Bizarro Hologram, which is like El Clon. Is that the name of him? Like, really cringe stuff at the end. Like, I don't like how the announcers play dumb. Like, oh, why is he doing this? This is unlike him. This is, we've seen video packages for this other guy of Hologram, right? So, and even I'm aware of that, and that was on Collision most times. So, who are we fooling here? Like, I don't know. Like, I would have been like, that can't be Hologram. That can't be him. We've seen video. That's another guy. But no, it's like they sold it for lever until he like revealed himself to be like the red version of Hologram, and then you had these weird glitch sounds over Kyle Fletcher's music. It was really, really awkward and weird, I thought. And like then you get that visual of the Don Callis family all walking out, and that's a cool visual. I will admit that, but it's a lot of family members that don't really mean a whole lot. What did Callis do for this Klondike bar? Oh, I like that. I like that. How many people get that Klondike bar reference anymore? I don't think a lot. Wrestling old head. We're both old heads. Wow. So I like Collision more. Tony Schiavone is greater than Excalibur. That's a fair point. Like, and I was going to make this argument too, as like, but here's the thing. I was thinking as like, what happened to Tony Schiavone? Where is he? Like, if you didn't say that, I wouldn't have known Tony Schiavone was the announcer for Collision. I would not have known that. Like, I just kept thinking, like, where's Tony been? Like, I know did they just position him in like a Mean Gene Okerlund role? Like for Dynamite, they already have Renee Paquette. They already have Alicia Toot. I was like, Tony, where's Tony? Well, there he is in purgatory. Dang it. Honestly, I think like if you made the decision to put Bryan Danielson in the commentary booth, I think you move Excalibur over to Collision and you keep Tony, Taz, and Danielson there. I think that's a fun combo. I think Danielson can learn a lot from Schiavone. Schiavone can be the lead guy again. Like he should be the lead guy. He's Tony Schiavone. He's not like he's lost a step or anything to that effect. Like put him in the primary role. I think if you want to refreshen Dynamite in every way possible and make it look like a cool, new, alluring product, I know I'm saying like Tony Schiavone should be in that role. Well, he's better at his job than Excalibur. No offense to Excalibur. He's good. He's sufficient, but like he doesn't bring anything to the table where it's just like, oh, I got to tune in because Excalibur is the voice of reason. The other aspect of Excalibur that takes you away from making a connection with him, like he is supposed to be the audience's moral compass. You're supposed to feel through him. He's your eyes, he's your voice on the show. How much of a connection can you make with somebody behind a mask like that? I don't know. Those are some of my criticisms that I have. I don't think that behooves the audience to have Excalibur still around there as your main voice. Devin Dowling makes clarification for me. Tony and Nigel are the Collision commentators with Daddy Magic at least 2 matches. So yeah, Tony and Nigel, I'm sure are great together. Sure they are. But I just think there's more value in having Tony on Dynamite than Excalibur. Thornbury says, if you want to hear Tony, his podcast is on At Free Shows. Correct. Which is what we're on at Free Shows. You can check out what happened when anytime. Tony Schiavone's the man. I love Tony. I think they should utilize him as much as they can on a bigger platform than Collision. Morrow would be good for Collision. I'm kind of out on Morrow. Morrow is I thought he was great when I first heard him and stuff like that, but he's very, very self-indulgent in regards to getting his catchphrases in and, everything to that effect and just being a little way too over the top. Yeah, I used to be like for Morrow and what he would do, but not so much anymore. He's lost his Mamma Mia for me. He's been on Maple Leaf. Morrow's been great on Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. He's more relaxed and not as catchphrase heavy. Interesting. Maybe I'll give him another chance then. That's good to know. Because I just thought he leaned way too heavy into it and he just did it way, way too much. Way, way too much. But people can make adjustments and who's to say Morrow hasn't? So willing to give him an opportunity. Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling's good stuff too. So we also had the Death Riders teaming up. That's oh my God, that's Moxley, that's Danny Garcia, and that is Claudio going up against Hangman Page, Samoa Joe, and Powerhouse Hobbs. Fun match. The main crux of this was to perpetuate a feud between Samoa Joe and Hangman Page. I am with whoever mentioned that it feels rushed, but I'm kind of okay with it because you have a month and a half basically until Wrestle Dream comes around. So I don't know if it's necessarily rushed, maybe unexpected, right? Like squeezed in. Like Dynamite does do that thing. Tony Khan happens to do this, and Roberts talked about it before, where he puts so many story points into one show where you can stretch that out over the course of several weeks. So yeah, I don't think yeah, it's a little squeezed in, a little unexpected, but like, look, we're getting Samoa Joe versus Hangman Page, and I think that's pretty cool. I think you could make a program out of this a little bit, very much so. I think, and I think that would be the best route to take. Do not make this a one-off between Hangman Page and Samoa Joe. I think there can be some meat on the bone depending on how you handle this throughout the next few weeks. Hear me out on this, because I think there's money in having Samoa Joe turn heel again, and kind of go crazy with power, and leading into ultimately a feud with Powerhouse Hobbs. And then you get Powerhouse Hobbs over as a new, bigger baby face again, going up against Samoa Joe. I think there's some potential there, because when you get done with Joe out of this feud, what's next for Joe? Like, you're just going to job him out to Hangman one big match, and then that's it? Where's he go after this? You could also maybe not have a longer program with Hangman, and just Joe loses. He's pretty upset. He takes it out on Powerhouse, who does not like that, and then you get a feud between Powerhouse and Joe. So maybe some ideas there. Let's see. Wrestling Audit says there's Samoa Joe promos. There's a Samoa Joe promos, and then there's everybody else. One of the most believable promos as far as cadence and delivery. Right. And I think him being in a program with Hangman Page could only help Hangman in this regard, because Samoa Joe is so good at this. And I think he can really charge something maybe new out of Hangman that we haven't seen yet. Maybe we can get something pretty cool here, where it's just like these two guys, that one's just a world beater and Hangman's the people that really like to latch on to as this, millennial cowboy and stuff like that. There's some potential for that, I think, there. The fact that they did the Macarena during the first match took me out of the show last night. That's true too. Yeah. It's the things that I do like about the Young Bucks can also be detrimental to them as well, when it comes to like doing the Macarena stuff and the cheesy corn stuff. That's, again, a little, like, to reference Mario, like a little self-indulgent. And, it kind of takes away from some aspects of what people like about pro wrestling. There's certain times for stuff like that, and like if you're having an opening high, fast-paced match, doing the Macarena is not really hammering a point home, where it's like, oh, okay, yes, they are as invested in this match as I am. Well, that's not the case if you're doing the Macarena. So, yeah, I understand that aspect. Joe as a heel is a menace. I loved him as a heel in TNA. Yeah, he's great stuff. He's great as a babyface. He's great as a heel. There's just good stuff you can do with Joe. So I think this is a great route for them to take with Hangman, and hopefully maybe get a new sort of pop out of Hangman too. We'll see how it goes. Sorry, I'm looking underneath my new webcam to figure out where my tab is. Okay, we had Tony Storm defeat Ty Mello. Okay, this is good in regards to just having a match, but again, hey, this is very paint by numbers in regards to how Tony Khan and AEW lay out matches from week to week. Okay, we know Ty Mello is going to lose here, and we haven't seen her in forever. It's just really lazy kind of booking. I understand you give Ty Mello the opportunity to get back on television and things like that. Well, why don't you do something with her besides just have her trot out, cut like a little vignette for the intro, and then out she goes, and then she loses. So yeah, there's just more you can do with the women's division here. We also had Brodito. Let me make sure here. Yeah, the gate. No, I'm sorry. The Gates of Agony taking on the Swirl. Did not know that was the name of Blake Christian and Lee Johnston, but gosh, same thing here. Like, why do I care about this match when we saw Gates of Agony already lose a tag team match against the tag champs in Brodito? Like, okay, they beat these guys, so we're supposed to believe in them again. And then on top of it, like, yeah, sure, they're dominant in this win, but like at the same time too, it's just like, why do I care? Why do I care about Blake Christian? Why do I care about Lee Johnson? Why should I care about Gates of Agony after they just lost? Like, it doesn't. These guys should be world beaters. Like, they should have like took Brodito to the limits, and then something unexpected happens, a banana peel slip or something goes on where Brodito gets the win, but it's a close one. Like, or like you don't put them in the position to lose. How about that? It's just like this felt stupid. Uh, I like that MVP comes out with the Hurt Syndicate, and MVP is like, maybe I lost a step and teasing that out there, but he wants to fight, and then we're gonna have a street fight in Jacksonville next week. Where do you go though after that? Because you can't. Can you have the Hurt Syndicate lose twice? You shouldn't have Gates of Agony lose again. Uh, you know, uh, Even if it's a street fight. I just it's a head scratcher for me right here. So we will get Chris Statlander against Tony Storm. Don't know if I necessarily had that on my bingo card as what was next to come here. I thought maybe you can have Chris Statlander go up against somebody else, like a fresh competitor. That would be a lot of fun. I mean, why not put Willow Nightingale in that role for Wrestle Dream or something like that? Or, I mean, there's plenty of women you can have kind of challenge Statlander and make it like feel pretty cool. But like to just go back to the well with Tony Storm, I don't get it, especially if she's getting this new kind of identity again, where she's like depressed or like dressed up differently, like she was wearing a raincoat and stuff like that. I don't understand going back to that maybe so soon, but maybe I'm wrong on that. Look at Tony Gong makes a good point here. After 6 years, too many people are in the same position they were when AEW started. It's true. It's really true. And it's like, and that, like, you're also missing out on a lot of talent that you had. And I'm not just saying from an in-ring perspective, but think of all the legends you had when you first started up AEW and how cool that really felt. Like the potential for, hey, who's Arn Anderson going to align with? What's Tully Blanchard doing with the Pinnacle here? Like, Jake the Snake with the Murder Hawk Monster. Like, what kind of faction are they going to be forming here? You don't have any legends on there anymore. It's just insane. It's insane with the amount of talent that you had and started off. And then a lot of these people that were paired up with these legends are in the same position that Tony Gong was just mentioned. Jeff Hanger says, I think Tony mixed up the booking for Gates of Agony for this week and last week. I just don't like the positioning of that. Yeah, I just don't get it. I don't get some of this aspect of, AW does some cool stuff here, but really, really is just an underwhelming product when you think about what it used to be over the course of the 6 years, So main event, we had, let me say too, I like what they're doing with Harley Cameron backstage and her kind of jumping from person to person in hopes of finding a tag partner for the AEW Women's Tag Championships. So her interaction with Mercedes was fun. And then who else did she pop up in front of? Chris Statlander. And so I think that's kind of a fun element to have. I will say, like, again, you're putting Mercedes Moné in a bad spot because she's Mercedes 9 belts. She wants to be 10. She talks about going for those tag team championships. Well, guess what? Like, she doesn't have the big one. She still doesn't have the big one. I just don't think he did right by her in that regard either. So yeah, a lot of thoughts about the show where it comes to some good aspects of AEW, but then some bad aspects too. You didn't have Max MJF on this show, so that felt like a big absence. You barely, like I said, had Eddie on there. Um, yeah, I just and then like yeah, I mean, I get Sting retired and everything. I get that, but it's just like you don't have Edge or Christian on there or Cope and Christian. I know Cope's gone, but no Christian. What's the follow up with that? Like, it's just it's not beneficial. You just you have to have all flavors of ice cream, and you're having a lot of similar flavors of ice cream that we've tasted over the years, and you haven't made those flavors better. You haven't had any sprinkles or jimmies, if you will, or anything else to them, where it makes it feel like a big deal. It's a bummer. It's a bummer, but not a bad show. Just like, man. And like if you're tuning in maybe as a fresh face, maybe you see it differently than I do. But if you've been through the 6 years and know what AEW had and what it doesn't have anymore and where it's trying to get and where it probably will not get, I don't know. I don't know. Um, Tony Gong says Jurassic Express was promised for the show as a big return, but it just ended up as a run in unless I missed it. No, I think you're right. Like, that was it. That was it. Like, wouldn't you want Jack Perry to say something? Like, we haven't seen him in months and months and months, and then he makes his big baby face return. We haven't even heard him talk about it. What's his reasoning? What's behind it all? It just I'm with you. I'm with you, Tony, on that one. Wrestling One says the quote, sometimes when you win, you actually lose, and sometimes when you lose, you tie is so fitting for Blake and Lee. Boy, like I don't I don't get, I get putting them on, but to try to make it something like, oh, well, this happened on Collision. Like, I appreciate the due diligence of it all, but does it really help your product if, you're just introducing them on Dynamite again and they're just a nobody tag team? Mhm. So, gosh, just some missed opportunities with this show. Got me a little blue, but you know what else gets you a little blue is Blue Chew. Guys, enter the room dick first. Blue Chew isn't just a tablet, it's a cheat code for your crotch. Stronger, harder, longer lasting. Like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. Guys, this isn't just about performance. This is about legacy. Or hey, third legacy. Give her a group chat, something to talk about. When you lay it down, they're talking about how it gets up. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at bluechew.com. And we got a special deal for our listeners. As always, get your first month of Blue Chew free, FREE. Just use promo code RUMOR at checkout and pay $5 shipping. That's it. Join BlueChew.com, Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head to BlueChew.com for details and safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. Thank you, Blue Chew. So yes, um, I just don't. What can AEW do to feel bigger? Like they need to change a lot of things. I think they just need to change some structure of the show, how people are positioned. This Death Riders thing is just blah. It's still blah. It will continue to be blah because we have Wrestle Dream and Moxley. It's like this hanging rain cloud, and they've made several rain clouds that you can't escape out of. It feels like, and like I just don't know overall if you're putting your talent in the best position when you have a huge faction like the Don Callis family and everybody can get lost in the shuffle. And then you have so many other talents that aren't necessarily getting the week to week moments in the spotlight where you should be doing that. I don't know. It's doing okay, but man, if you've been on this ride, like, I'm sure a lot of you have for the 6 years, this just does not feel like it doesn't pack a punch as it should be, at this juncture. And I get, wrestling obviously goes through its peaks and valleys, but like their peaks and valleys should be a lot higher than where they're at right now, AEW. And like I'm gonna say it too, like right now, WWE's kind of feels flat right now too. But I mean, like, they're the big kahuna. They're what people tune into. Dynamite was positioned as the alternative for WWE over this course of 6 years. and it still is, but it's like a way, way distant second place and where it should be. Like it should be like, you know, at least a little bit. You should, if you think about it, like they were having over 1 million viewers, like at one point in time, and that's pretty. I mean, that's good. So, like, if you could, they should be a little above that or around that range instead of what we're getting now. Even if, people's viewing habits change and things like that. Look, you keep your talent around, and you dot your i's, cross your t's, and make compelling storylines, uh, and good builds and good feuds, and you're doing something different than what WWE is doing. There's a lot that AEW has suffered from over this course of 6 years. So hopefully they can correct course, and we can figure out something what's going on. Let's see here. Jeff Hanger says, have the Death Riders split off into black and white and black and red. Oh, please don't. No, don't do that. They need Marcus D'Angelo's talent. Boy, could you imagine Marcus in one of those factions? The Don Callis. Marcus would fit pretty well in the Don Callis family now that I think about it. He would. He'd talk a lot of trash. See, that'd be good for them. They're a tag team, but their egos clash and they bicker and that costs them. Oh, you're talking about Lee Johnson and Blake Christian there. Tony Gong says, I think they should hot potato some of the lesser titles, get them some attention and exposure for the lower mid-carders. Yeah, I mean, I guess I think you should just get rid of playing of the titles. Like that unified championship, gosh. You're supposed to be the next world championship. It feels like nothing. I don't think about it. I have to try to think about it to remember it. And that's not good. That's not good. Gosh, there's a lot of titles that just don't feel like they matter. Let's be happy they didn't combine the Don Callis family and the Death Riders. Who knows at this point? I'm sure they've teamed up at one point or another that I just can't remember. Oh boy, Triple E says they need me on commentary. He'd be 1,000,000 times better than Bryan Danielson. Danielson's like he's fine, but he's not really I'm not feeling Bryan Danielson's personality behind there. It's just he's making points and things like that. It's like Bryan Danielson's funny and he's clever and like I like his sense of humor. But like it's not conveying on a week-to-week product right now. All right. I think I should do it. The Callius Riders. Oh my God. The Callius Riders. I don't know. Ugh. Don't make me think about that. Hey, but you can think about me tomorrow and every Monday through Friday here on the @WD Creative _ish X account. That's Robert's X account. The @Dominic D'Angelo X account. The @SE Scoops X account. On YouTube, that's Rumor and Innuendo. That's ad-free shows, and that's Oh You Didn't Know. You can tune in every Monday through Friday for us. And thank you all for tuning in today. I'll be back tomorrow. Robert should be back tomorrow as well. So we'll fire off with a TGIF and let the good times roll. So thank you all for tuning in. Best of luck in your future endeavors. And